So I guess we'll start off in a minute or so, as soon as Vivan says that we are live on the socials. As always, let's keep this interactive. Whatever questions you have, just keep posting them in the chat. Hi Ritesh. Hi Yagnadeep. Okay, awesome. So hi everyone. In today's session, we are going to talk about how to build a career in token economics. So let's divide it into two parts. The first part is I'll explain what a token economist actually does. And in the second part, we'll talk about how to really build a career in that. So let me just quickly share my screen. Give me a second. I hope you're able to see an image on my screen which says, what does a token economist do? So if you can see that, if you guys can just, okay, awesome. So now, when we talk about the term token economics, what we mean is the economic models and token distribution methods which are used in the blockchain and crypto world. Now, any crypto project that we talk about or any blockchain project that we talk about, the single most important thing is always the token economics model. And if that is not built right, the project is bound to fail. And if that is built well, then even an average project can actually end up doing really well. So as a token economist, what do you do? So the first step is you need to choose which is the best type of crypto asset for the project that you are working on. Now, what are the types of crypto assets? So the first is a currency. Classic example of this would be something like Bitcoin or Litecoin or Bitcoin Cash. They are meant to be used as a medium of exchange or as a what we call as a cryptocurrency. The second type is a governance token. So if you've heard about projects like Uniswap, so Uniswap is an extremely popular, very, very successful DEX, decentralized crypto exchange. Now, when you buy the Uni token, you cannot use the Uni token on that. It is meant to be the governance token. So if you want to take part in the governance of the project, voting about how the project should move forward, only then you would buy the Uni token. So governance token is the second major type of crypto asset. Third is privacy coin. So that is like a currency, but with enhanced privacy. So classic example would be something like Monero. So whereas in a typical currency, anybody can see details about transactions by going to the blockchain explorer, you cannot do that in a privacy coin. It will not give you that information. So certain projects need privacy coins. Then there is something called the security token. So for example, Vivan, I always tell you to raise funds through crypto for Crater itself. If you were to do that, then you would ideally go with something called a security token because it would give your investors ownership of the company which owns the platform, and they would be able to exchange, buy, sell those tokens on the crypto markets also. So kind of consider it like an equity share, but tradable on the crypto markets. Then you have utility token. Classic example would be something like Ethereum, that if you want to use the Ethereum mainnet blockchain, you have to pay transaction fee or gas fee using ETH. So that is the utility of that token. It is supposed to be used to pay for transactions. Finally, we have something called a wrapped asset. Classic example, something like Tether. So a wrapped asset is where you are taking a real world asset like fiat currency, gold, and then you're wrapping and giving the equivalent version which people can use on the crypto markets. So classic example, like I said, Tether, OPAX, gold, they would come under wrapped assets. Any questions? I hope it's all clear. My voice is audible and I'm not too fast. Could someone just quickly give me a yes on that? Awesome. Any questions on this? So the first job is to understand what are the different types of crypto assets, and then depending upon the project that you're working for or that you're advising, you would choose which type of crypto asset to go with. Because if you make a mistake on this, that would be the end of the project. Next is choosing the best token economics model. Now, there are four major options today. The first is deflationary, second is inflationary, third is dual token, fourth is asset backed. So when we talk about deflationary, we mean things like Bitcoin, where the maximum supply is limited from day one. So in Bitcoin's case, we know the max supply is 21 million. So over time, as the demand continues or even remains the same, because the supply is fixed and people are beginning to hold on to the token, the value goes up. So we say it is deflationary because inflationary means value is going down. Now the word deflationary as used in the crypto markets is very different from the word deflationary used in the normal economics of the world. So don't get confused between the two. And I would say one of the biggest reasons why Bitcoin has been so successful and it has crossed, I mean, even today it is so many thousands of dollars. The reason is the deflationary aspect that everybody in the world knows there can never be more than 21 million. So automatically a FOMO is created. If I don't hold on to it, and what if it becomes $1 million in the future? So deflationary is a very good angle. Another very successful deflationary model is that of BNB. So when Binance first came out with their ICO, if I'm not mistaken, it was 2016 or 17. What they said was they would be initially issuing 200 million, but every 3 months they would burn. That means they go to the market, pick up some BNB, they buy it and they burn them. They would keep doing this burning till they are left only with 100 million. So Binance is a classic example of deflationary where the supply is going to fall or reduce over time from 200 going down to 100 million. And again, we can see that's been very, very successful. Any questions so far? No questions, you could just put a clear so that I'll continue. Okay, awesome. So we've seen deflationary, we've seen, then comes inflationary. Now inflationary, we talk about a classic example would be Ethereum, where there is no limit on the number of tokens that can be issued. Unlimited tokens can be like Ethereum because it is a utility token. As more and more people start using the platform, you would like to keep the price reasonable. Otherwise, it becomes very expensive to use the platform. That's the reason they went with the inflationary approach. However, having said that, the price of Ethereum is still pretty high, ETH, and that makes transaction fees pretty expensive. But that's the concept of inflationary, where you do not put a limit on the number of tokens that you can issue. So you can issue more and more of them in the future. All the tokens in Ethereum blockchain are inflationary. No, Ritesh, what I mean by this is ETH itself is inflationary. On the Ethereum blockchain, hundreds of thousands of people have created their token. So someone like a Tether has created, what is that? Asset backed, which is the fourth in this category. Someone else has created deflationary, someone inflationary. There are dual tokens also, but ETH in itself is inflationary. Then we have the dual token model, which is again a very nice model. So classic example would be something like Theta. They have two tokens. One is Theta and one is T Fuel. Then there's another example of VeChain that also has two tokens. I offhand can't remember the name. One is VET, I forget the other one. So dual token makes sense in certain kinds of models where maybe you want one token to represent a utility. So they pay for the fees with that. And the second could be governance, or it could be some kind of a store of value, or it could even be a medium of exchange. So depending upon your project, dual token may also be a good option. Shashank's question is burn. Okay, I'm not understanding your exact question. Could you just type that in clearly, Shashank, what do you mean by that? Yagnadeep says, learn is deflationary model. Yes, Yagnadeep, that's a good question. So when we look at the learn token, so in fact, we are now going to do a few changes in that before it goes. That's the reason it is not yet very publicly available. Right now, we are only making it available through, for example, the creator platform. So we are tweaking the economic model a little bit, and very soon you would know how that would work. So it is going to be kind of like a multi-token approach. So very soon I'll be having a session dedicated towards that. MakerDAO, Ritesh says MakerDAO. Okay, that's a good question. Offhand, I don't remember whether it is limited or unlimited. So if you could just check that, then I'll tell you what it is. But I think MakerDAO has, I think it is unlimited, but I'll have to check back on this. Oh, okay. Shashank's question is about token burns. So burn basically means you send the token or you transfer it to an address which has no known private key. So that means for all effective purposes, it is not going to be available. Why do we need learn token when we have fiat currency to pay for the fee? So Yagnadeep, that's a good question. So actually learn is a loyalty program. It is not really a medium of exchange. it is a very, very different concept. So like I said, we'll be doing a session dedicated on that very soon. So at that time, I'll go more into detail. It is not really supposed to take the place of a medium of exchange kind of a thing like Bitcoin or anything, or even like fiat. It's a completely different model. Shashank's question is, burning the token is also a kind of economic model. No. So tokens which can be burned are a type of deflationary. So deflationary has two types. Type 1 is where the maximum supply is limited. Type 2 is where the supply reduces over time because of burning. Yagnadeep says, so we don't have to pay tax in centralized exchanges when it gets a monetary value. So Yagnadeep, like I said about Learn, we'll come back to that later. So these are the 4 different types. Dual token asset, and asset backed is again classic example would be something like your Tether or Pax Gold, where it is backed by some kind of a real world asset, right? Okay. Now, then after that, the third thing that a token economists do is to identify the best fundraising method. Now, this is most important, and I hope Vivan is also listening in on this. So what happens here is, there are many ways in which you can raise money in the crypto world. So the most common or the oldest one is the ICO, initial coin offering. So even Ethereum started off with that, and if I'm not mistaken, you had to pay using Bitcoin for the initial Ethereum ICO because there was no other crypto really which was that popular at that time. So ICO is one. Second is called a reverse ICO. So where in an ICO, anybody could be part of this new project which is coming. In a reverse ICO, an existing established real world business also could decentralize its ownership by allowing people to buy into it. So that is why we call it the reverse of an ICO. Very similar to what happens in the stock market, where we have a concept called a reverse merger, where a larger company which is very successful is actually taken over by a smaller, less successful company, but which is already listed on the stock market. So immediately from day one, the shares of this big company are listed. So suppose there is a crypto already listed on the markets around the world. Even though that crypto is not successful, an existing successful project could merge into that. And that's what we call as a reverse ICO. So that's kind of one example of what a platform like Creator could do. Then we have something called IEO, which is initial exchange offering, where you directly list on an exchange, and that is how it begins. So instead of an ICO, where as a project team you are raising the funds in your addresses, people would directly invest through the exchange. And because already the exchange has a large number of customers who trust the exchange, they already hold funds there, it becomes very easy for them to invest. Now, if you do that in a centralized exchange, we call it IEO. If you do it in a DEX, we call it IDO. Example, if you do it on a Uniswap, it would be an IDO, which is initialized decentralized exchange offering. Then we have a very interesting thing called a DICO, DAICO. So consider it to be a DAO plus ICO mixed. So you make a DAO, people then invest in the DAO, right? They get a right to vote on what to do with the project. So if they're not happy with the progress, they can actually get their money back or the project can be stalled. So consider a DICO to be a DAO plus an ICO. Then we have ETOs, which is equity token offerings. And we also have STO, which is security token offering. So an equity is an equity share today. A security is something which need not be an equity share, but it represents security or ownership. And then you have SAFT, similar again, simple agreement for future tokens. The last 3 categories require a lot of permissions from the government because these are the regulated ones. The first few are not really regulated. Any questions on these fundraising models? Is it all clear? Can someone just give me an all clear if there are no questions? I hope I'm audible to all of you. I'm not seeing any reply here. Okay, awesome. The final thing that token economists would do, why did ICO lose popularity? Everyone, that's a good question. So what happened was, during the ICO boom of, I think, 2017, a lot of really bad projects also came up. And those projects were all scams, or they just took people's money and disappeared, rug pulls and all. Because of that, ICOs got a bad name. But a lot of very successful projects like Ethereum itself or even Binance, they all were the result of ICOs. But yeah, there were a lot of scams also, which is why kind of ICOs lost out. And then another reason is at that time you didn't really have much exchanges. In fact, now imagine a world when Binance didn't exist. So Binance was kind of the first real important crypto exchange. Of course, we did have Mt. Gox and all before that, but Binance changed the game. Because Binance came into the picture, platforms like Ethereum came, which made it easy to list your own, create your own tokens. Suddenly, a new kind of concept came. Like with Ethereum came DAOs. So automatically, DICO also became a possibility. Because more exchanges came, IOs and IDOs became a possibility. So that's the reason today ICOs are not so popular. Finally, a token economist creates the strategic documents of a project. Usually, the most common is white paper, light paper, yellow paper, beige paper, and then there are roadmaps. So, a white paper, look at the Bitcoin one, would talk about the entire concept and a little bit about the tech. Light paper is like a smaller version of the white paper, and there would be usually no tech in that. Yellow paper, on the other hand, has a lot of the tech in it, and again, beige paper is a smaller version of a yellow paper. So these are the four most common types. There are other colors also, but these are the four you usually find. And then, of course, you make roadmaps about how the whole thing is going to progress. So that's the kind of a role that a token economist plays. Now, if you want to learn more about token economics, Vivan, if you could share the link to the WhatsApp group I've just created. So whoever's interested in learning, just join up for that WhatsApp group. I'll be sharing a lot of information on that. So Vivan, please post that link as soon as you get some time. Now let's go to the second step, and that is how do we really go about building a career in this. Now, it's actually very, very common and simple. It's just like the way you would create a career in any other aspect of Web3, right? Let me just open it up. Give me a second. Okay. So whether it is you're building a tech career, just give me a second. I seem to have made a mistake. One sec, I'll just open up the. Okay, I hope you guys can see my screen. And give me 1 second. So you should be able to see something called building a Web3 career written. Can you just tell me if you can see that? Can someone give me a quick yes? If you can see this, it's visible. Awesome. So whether it's Web3 technology or whether it's token economics or any aspect of Web3, if you're building a career, the steps are basically the same. So like I was mentioning in the earlier session we had about blockchain law careers, the first step is to skill up. Now, when we are skilling up, please remember one thing. Do not go around learning random text, theoretical stuff. Learn the stuff that is actually mentioned in job posts. So here I put a list of websites that you can use where the jobs are listed. So usually you will find jobs like token economics or DeFi analysis, or there could be other terms. But what are the skill sets that companies are looking for? Companies will be very specific that they need to hire someone with these skills. I've also made a detailed post on that. You can have a look at it later. Make sure you learn exactly that and learn from interview questions. So I also keep posting interview questions. I'll post on this also. Learn exactly like that so that your knowledge can be applied to crack that interview and to do the job after that. So make sure you get a lot of practical knowledge in token economics. After that, obviously, you should build something. Now, if you're building a tech career, you would make an open source project. Otherwise, you would make ebooks, videos, or best would be to create case study reports. So if you want to show the world how much knowledge you have in token economics, take an existing project, could be an established one like Bitcoin, Binance Coin, Ethereum, or could be a brand new one also, and make a report on the token economics. Say, okay, this is the kind of token model they are following. These are the problems. These are the good things. This is how the token has performed in the past or is likely to do in the future. And that would help you to build a lot of, following. People will start to realize, okay, you know what you're talking about. So step 2 is to build something. Step 3 obviously is to network. So attend as many online and offline events as you can. And then, whenever you meet someone in an event, online or offline, I think you should immediately try to connect with them on LinkedIn, and then go to the projects, Discords and other such channels and start networking with the teams. Step 4 would be to get an internship. When you're looking for an internship, don't bother about the stipend. Experience is the most important. Solid experience is what you should get. And final step would be to now decide whether you want to take a job, you're going to make your own startup, or you're going to become a consultant. So even the gig economy is picked up big time. So, sites like Fiverr, Upwork and all could help you to get your own consulting project if you don't want to go for a full-time job. So if you're already working, you're doing something part-time, consulting is a very good option. And then of course, you could also start your own business in this. Questions? Vivan's also shared the link to a WhatsApp group that I've created, so you guys can join that. What are the best ways for step 1, like for skilling up? Yeah, that's a very good question. So what I've done is I've made a post which talks about the skills required. Let me first share that with you guys. Give me a second. In that post, I mentioned what is the skill, role, salaries, everything in this field, and maybe that will help you guys to learn the right kind of skill. So let me just put it in the. So I put one in the link right now. Have a look at that. Other than that, there is another one also I'd like to share with you guys. Yeah. So the first one is for token economics, and the second one is for a kind of related field, which we call as DeFi analyst. So for both of them, I've put the links here. So do have a look at those. That will help you to figure out what is it that you have to learn. As of right now, I don't really run a course in it. I'm planning on it. I'll definitely let you guys know if it starts up. Any other questions? Vivan, there's another thing. I mean, it just struck me. I mean, is there a way we could kind of do live events around Creator itself? So like I keep telling everyone, that you must attend online and offline events. So I was just wondering, I mean, is it simple or difficult for us to create online events using Creator itself, where everyone can sort of network with each other also? Jatin's question is how to find a good mentor in the field of DeFi analyst and token economist. So I think one of the best ones would be LinkedIn. So go to LinkedIn and see people who post good stuff on this, see if they are ready to mentor you. Usually that social media is the best way to try to find these guys. So you'll usually find such people on Twitter, Instagram or LinkedIn. So maybe you could try to find them from there. Okay, so Vivan says we can provide breakout room. Okay, so Vivan, would you be able to come online right now and just explain how that works? I'll just stop sharing my screen. So I mean, I just thought about it, so I thought why not try to see, so that all the people who are part of a stream can then network with each other, and we can start providing regular online events since we recommend them so much. Sure, Vivan. So while you are coming online, if somebody else has questions, please do ask. Do any of you guys have any questions? Okay, we'll wait. Okay, all clear. Great. So we'll just wait for Vivan to join us. So I'm basically thinking, how best is it that our community can actually meet regularly? Ashwin says any compulsory reading. Well, that's a tough question to answer, but yes, you could have a look at it. So recently, Binance came out with a report called On Token Economics. It's a nice PDF, 40 odd pages. That's a very good one to start with. Offhand, I don't happen to remember that. Let me just get the link for you. While Vivan is coming, I'll just find the link and share it. It's a very good document to start with. Hi, Vivan.
Hey.
So, could you tell us how best we could kind of, make a stream into an event, or how participants could also interact with each other?
Yeah, fairly simple. We can start creating breakout rooms for the next session. Am I not audible?
Okay.
One sec. Yeah, I think
You're
I'm
audible,
audible, right? Yeah, we can start creating breakout rooms if people are interested. Maybe in the chat box, they can let us know. Where basically after the session, after they hear you, they can go in and interact with each other. So that's very straightforward and simple for us to do. So post the session ending, a breakout room will open up and they can join that. Rohas, I think I lost you. I don't know if it's on my end, if anybody else wants to confirm.
Okay.
Yeah, your video went
Either
off.
I can't hear you because my net is down or maybe yours is down. Can the rest of you hear Vivan? Could someone just give me a yes, no here?
Yeah, Rohas, I lost your video as well.
Okay. Some people can't. Vivan, I'm not able to hear you. Okay, the rest of them can. So maybe it's a problem at my end.
Maybe. Yeah. So anyway, I'll drop it in the chat as well. Yeah. Yeah, Rohas's video just went off.
Is it better now?
Yeah, I
Can you
can
guys
hear
see
you.
and hear me?
Yeah, yes.
I'm guessing there's a problem at my end with the internet. Okay.
Rohas, I think it's something
So
related
Vivan,
to your
because I can't
headphones.
really hear you, so I don't know if you finished explaining. So I'm presuming you finished
Yeah.
explaining.
I did. We'll do a breakout room after the sessions. Yeah,
Couple of
I'll drop
questions
off.
here.
Yeah.
So Jatin says, I've gathered the skill of a DeFi analyst and don't know how to start in that. So Jatin, like I said, you need to follow that track. So if you've gotten the skills, that means you've completed stage 1. So now what is important for you is to go to the next stage where you need to build something. So have you created some kind of nice case studies and posted them on platforms like LinkedIn? Showcasing your expertise to people. If you could answer that question, Jatin, then I'll continue guiding you on that. So Jatin, that would be the next step. Now you need to show the world that you know token economics, right? So, or DeFi analysis. So for next step, I'm waiting for you to post something. Try to do it by Monday. You have the weekend to do it and tag me in it. So I'll share it with my network also. Let people start seeing the kind of stuff that you're doing. So that would be your step number 2. Kavita wants to know if there is any opportunity where we can combine tech and economics knowledge. Yes, you can, definitely. In fact, I'll be very honest, that's exactly what I do. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm a Web3 developer or architect as well as a token economist. And having a knowledge of both is very, very helpful. It makes my work a lot easier. I can get a lot more consulting projects because of it. And I can also handle my own project because of it. So I think it's a very good combination if you can combine tech as well as the finance knowledge. Because anyway, you can't really do much in the field without tech knowledge. You need to have some tech knowledge about how different protocols actually work. Kavita says, where can I find startup projects? Oh, they're all over the place. Again, like I said, you could go to platforms which I've listed here like web3.career and all and see the startups who are putting up opportunities there. Then there are so many places where startups in. Then you could go on to social media, look at what all those tons and tons of projects out there. And one of the simplest ways, if you want to see every single crypto project, is go to sites like coinmarketcap.com, go to sites like Airdrop Alert, where upcoming projects which are coming out so listed. So that's usually a very easy way. So Kavita, I would say start with Airdrop Alerts. It'll tell you all the new projects which are coming up. What are the opportunities for MERN stack developers? So that question actually we answered a few days ago when we did a session on building a tech career in Web3. So you could have a look at the video of that. You'll be able to see answers. We did a complete session on that. So we've actually broken our sessions down. We did one on tech, one on law, and now we've done on finance. Any other questions? Okay, so it was great speaking to all of you. And I'm going to be now talking to Vivan and figuring out next event onwards. Let's try to make them interactive events. So it kind of becomes like a regular online event that all of us can do. And I've shared a few links with you guys. Yeah, Kavita, it's Airdrop Alert. So if you just Google also for upcoming airdrop sites, you'll see a lot of sites like Airdrop Alert. In fact, let me just give you the URL. Give me a second. So what Airdrop Alert and other such sites do is they list all the upcoming projects. So that's a good way for you to come to know which are the projects coming up in future. Unfortunately, my internet seems really slow today. Yeah, I got the URL. Let me just put it. Okay, I've put the URL here. And I've also started a WhatsApp group. Vivan shared the URL. So you guys can join that up also, and then let's plan out more events. Yeah. Okay. See you. Bye bye.